Fans still bringing some energy here. Pistons had a lot to celebrate, taking Cade Cunningham to start. Houston's been very active, not only with a handful of first-round picks, 3 of them to start the night. They made a deal, and they'll wind up with 4 guys who have been selected in the first round, pending further trades. It has meant everything. Only 60 men will have their names called by the end of the evening. Homestanding Brooklyn Nets just made a pick, 49th overall, and they went to Creighton and selected Marcus Zagorowski, the younger brother of 2014 NBA Rookie of the Year, Michael Carter-Williams. Very versatile player, Zagorowski.
Versatile player. I call him a gamer, and he reminds me a little bit of Fred VanVleet when he was at Wichita State.
Here come the Sixers.
We have a completed trade to announce. The New Orleans Pelicans trade the draft rights to Greg Brown III, the 43rd pick, to the Portland Trail Blazers for a future second-round pick and financial considerations. And with the 50th pick in the 2021 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Filip Petrusev from Belgrade, Serbia.
Filip Petrusev from Serbia played and was effective in his 2 seasons at Gonzaga, and so effective, in fact, he was the West Coast Conference Player of the Year.
Yeah, he was automatic inside the paint and then decided to go overseas, go back home to Serbia, play for Mega, which also produced Nikola Jokic, Goga Bitadze, a lot of good bigs. And he wanted to prove, I'm not just the old school big. I'm not just this paint dominant guy. I want to step out and shoot the 3. I want to handle a little bit. And he did that. He shot over 40% from 3. I think he made a step. Needs to get better defensively, get a little bit tougher, but he's very, very skilled and now has that inside-outside game.
Could he stay over there? Because he got a buyout, doesn't he?
I think he wants to come over immediately from everything I've heard, but, you know, that's always an option as well.
Yep.
We all know Daryl Morey loves shooters, right? And stretch bigs. And guess what? I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name.
I can tell you this. He wanted to go to Serbia, that's fine, but he has made one error in judgment in his basketball career. Here's a former winged Beaver from the Avon Old Farm School for Boys, and he opted to leave the finest school for boys in the planet, go elsewhere.
Great job. That was a great
Beaver?
pick.
The Winged Beavers. That's their nickname. He is a former Winged Beaver and a former Zag.
Isn't a beaver with wings a bird?
No, it's a
Winged.
beaver with wings.
A winged beaver.
There you go. There's also a team in that league in New England, that New England Prep League, called the Big Red Rhino.
A lot of great chants in the crowd.
I've got card 99 ready to go earlier tonight while Jay Billis was discussing. Yeah, it's off the rails as we go to the final 10 picks of the NBA draft. Here are the best available that Schmitz has. Still waiting to hear from Brandon Boston's name covered. Daishan Nix, too. Other big guys. Here's Mark Tatum.
With the 51st pick in the 2021 NBA Draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Brandon Boston Jr. from the University of Kentucky.
There it is.
And I'm told that this pick is going to go to New Orleans. Philadelphia just made it, but or Memphis, I should say, it's going to New Orleans.
Well, he's got size, he's got skill, and playmaking ability. The problem is this last year, he just had a really rough season. Shot the ball extraordinarily poorly for his talent level, down in the 30s for his field goal percentage and under 30 from three-point range. But when he was in high school, he was considered a lottery talent. And I still think he's a first-round talent. So this is actually a value pick to get him this low in the draft, I believe.
I agree. And watching him at Pro Day and watching some of his workouts, you could tell mentally he just wasn't there. And I think a huge role that played a part in that was Terrence Clark, was one of his good friends. And I just think, he hadn't got over that part because they had dreamed of being in the draft together. And sometimes going into the workout, especially as a youngster, your mind just isn't there. So I think, going to New Orleans with David Griffin, I think, who's a hell of a GM, who's going to embrace him along with Willie Green, is going to get him over that hump. And I think he's going to have a hell of a pro career.
So Brandon Boston coming off the board, headed to New Orleans eventually. The Pistons are back on the clock. So far tonight, the Pistons have drafted Cade Cunningham, as you know, J.T. Thor out of Auburn, and Isaiah Livers from Michigan, and now they will make their 4th selection of the evening, 52nd overall here in the second round.
With the 52nd pick in the 2021 NBA Draft, the Detroit Pistons select Luka Garza from the University of Iowa.
That's what I'm talking about, Troy Weaver. That's what I'm talking about, Troy Weaver. Look, Troy Weaver is not going to pass up on talent. He loves skill bigs. And I know he's out there listening to me right now. Hey, Troy, great pickup. He loves going with the guys that get overlooked, that has something to prove. And Big Garza has something to prove this season.
Well, he can really score and was the National Player of the Year for a reason. He can step away and knock down threes. He's got excellent range as a stretch 5. He must have dropped 25, 30 pounds since the season ended. He didn't play at the Combine, but he looked great. I think that the issue for Garza has been his ability to guard out on the perimeter, pick and rolls when he gets drawn away from the basket, and he's not explosive off the floor. So you don't see him he's not a lob threat. You didn't see Iowa throwing lobs to him or him getting tip dunks or anything like that. But his ability to, his footwork is really good. I mean, he can absolutely score, and he can certainly stretch a defense on the offensive end.
He can shoot the ball. He's got a great feel. He's very physical. He's a great kid. He's been productive. It's just going to come down to, can you guard a ball screen, right? Can you guard a ball screen well enough to stay on the floor? And that's why I think studying guys like Jokic, right, who can be in that drop coverage and kind of play the ball handler and the big, that bluff and recover game, continuing to study that, I think is going to give him more rope to kind of use those offensive gifts.
You know what? I'm Team Garza right now. I'm going with the big fella. He's going to prove everybody wrong because they told me I had slow feet because I was a big fella, but I could move to slide these puppies really, really well. Team Garza all day. Shout out Troy Weaver and the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, you moved those puppies, what, 13 years, 14 years? How long were you moving those puppies in the league? Big Perk showed him. Big Perk showed him. Big Perk. Hey, Luka Garza will get a chance to do it in Detroit as well.
Welcome aboard the Disney Bundle. To your left, blockbuster hits with Disney Plus. Then Hulu for laughs and drama. Next, nonstop sports with ESPN Plus. All aboard the Disney Bundle. Upgrade your entertainment with Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus for just $13.99 a month.